Michael Jackson, the king of pop, the master manifestor. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've mentioned on here how much I love Michael Jackson. I love him so much. Loved him since I was a child. I was always so enraptured, so fascinated by him, this larger than life type of person. And even though he was larger than life on the stage, he had such a quiet, gentle nature about him, like an earth angel, like just a soothing, melodic, soft spoken voice, even though they say that was not his real voice and he had a real deep voice, but a kind, gentle, loving heart. I was so fascinated by his soft nature, by towing that line between masculine and feminine, right? He was still a man, but there was something so beautiful about him. He was beautiful to me at every phase, every stage of development, every era. I've always known of Michael Jackson and I've always known his music, his biggest hits, but I didn't really come to love or stan, what we refer to as stan him until he died. Unfortunately, the day he died, I remember coming home from school. I was in a summer program. This was June 25th, 2009. And I remember walking through the doors and I see on the TV, Michael Jackson passes away. And I'm like, Michael Jackson. And from that point, they started playing on BET, all the tributes, all of his music everywhere on MTV, all his music videos, and the Jacksons, An American Dream, and things of that nature. And I would just sit there and binge it all. I binged it all. And that's because my mom was a Prince fan. So I never really got into Michael Jackson. Oh, girl, she's a Prince fan. She was like, I've always liked Prince over Michael Jackson. Still sad that Michael Jackson passed away, but she was a Prince girl growing up. That was her tea. And my dad was never a fan of Michael Jackson. But once I started consuming all this Michael Jackson media, I became obsessed. I wanted to look at every interview, every home video footage, every little, thing about him. I was obsessed. I knew that he loved KFC. He was so weird, and I loved that about him. I loved it. I wanted to know everything about him. And I remember just sitting online looking at all these articles and interviews and every piece of information I could find. If somebody gave a statement to a magazine about him, I would want to read it. I would be so interested. I used to be like, what is Michael Jackson's favorite color? What is Michael Jackson's favorite this? Just on Google going crazy. I remember maybe third or fourth grade. I was around maybe 9 years old. This one girl told me, is Michael Jackson your daddy? Because you have his nose, because I have quite a small nose. But I was like, girl, fuck you, since you're trying to be funny, but I'm honored that you would make that comparison. But still, girl, fuck you. But that's okay. She didn't make it in the WNBA, so all is right with the world.
Practice more.
Practice more?
I practiced a lot.
You practiced a hell of a lot. But you're going to practice more? Oh, God. Okay. What is your greatest lesson learned?
Believe in yourself. Study the greats and become greater. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if the whole world is against you or tease you or say you're not going to make it. Believe in yourself. No matter what.
No matter what.
Some of the greatest men that have made a mark on this world were treated like that. You're not going to do it. You're not going to get anywhere. They laughed at the Wright brothers. They laughed at Thomas Edison. Mm-hmm. They laughed at Walt Disney. They made jokes of Henry Ford. They said he was ignorant. He didn't have a college degree because he dropped out of school. Mm-hmm. Disney dropped out of school.
I respect how hard he worked and how he was willing to put in the work to get the success that he achieved. Now, this is going to be me mainly discussing his work ethic and how he manifested this success. But I'm also probably going to be fangirling throughout this. I have no hard outline. I saw the movie 2 weeks ago. And it just reignited my passion, my love for Michael Jackson and everything he did. I was watching the movie and I had goosebumps. I was feeling his energy. Like I couldn't stop singing throughout the movie. There wasn't many people in the theater, so I was able to do that. I wasn't loud about it. I wanted to get up and dance, and I'm by no mean a dancer. I was shook in that movie. Now, I have my own personal things that I, not to say disliked about the movie, but I feel could have been done better. But Jafar Jackson did an incredible, he did an amazing job as Michael. The dancing, you could tell he worked so hard to emulate and give the best performance he could as his uncle Michael Jackson on the screen. His voice, his tone, the way he spoke, he put the work in, okay? Oh my God, I got goosebumps right now talking about it because that's how much I love Michael Jackson, how much you can feel his energy. Even, what is it, 17 years later? Almost 17 years later after his death. Okay, first off, the movie. I enjoyed the movie. Will I say it was short? What was it, 2 hours? That's, for me, that's short. But I can see why they wanted to split up into two parts. But I feel real Michael Jackson fans, we are willing to sit and watch a 4 hour movie about Michael Jackson's life. That's how I am. When I was younger, I would watch all the Michael Jackson, I guess, documentaries or movies like The Jackson and American Dream. Would watch the hell out of that. Like, the movie stopped when it was just getting going into his career, but I understand they feel like they have to split it up into two parts. Sure, okay, whatever. And also, I don't want to say it's a little bit too fluffy because Michael Jackson really suffered a lot through his life. Do I want to say show him getting savagely beaten on the screen? No, that's not what I'm saying. And I understand you have to theatricize it a little bit, got to add some a theatric flair for the movie screen. Okay, sure. But ideally, in my mind, I would like the movie to pay homage to the whole truth as much as we can without it getting like salacious. You know what I mean? And he was quite a private person, a very lonely person. And if they were to add more material, and I understand that a lot of that stuff would be anecdotal or people telling them the conversations to whoever produced the movie that they may have had with him. So I can see where that can get complicated. And also, I'm hearing that certain family members did not want this movie to be made. I know Paris Jackson didn't want it to be made. Janet Jackson didn't consent to using her likeness in this movie. And I think Prince Jackson was an executive producer. But I feel like a lot of the conflicts being had outside of the movie being made kind of watered down the story a little bit. If I Because ideally, in my mind, if we're gonna make a Michael Jackson movie, let's make a Michael Jackson movie, okay? And I haven't really looked or done too much research into the exact problems that specific family members had with the making of this movie. This is just mostly going to be me talking about what I've heard, and it's not going to be too in depth. Coleman Domingo did an excellent job as Joe Jackson. I love Coleman Domingo. I think he's such an incredible actor. And it's a movie. It's not going to be true to real life, but I feel in a way it kind of fluffed up a little bit the monster that Joe Jackson was. You're not going to get too in depth into it, but he was really despicable, the way he treated Michael, the children, Catherine Jackson, etc. Just the other day, I was listening to a phone call that Michael Jackson had with a person, and yeah, they recorded this phone call. But he would be scared, he would be shaking, damn near ready to throw up from being in the presence of Joe Jackson. But at least I'm happy the movie showed him overcoming that fear and breaking away from Joe Jackson, even though that led him into another predicament with his separate management. But anyway, and I'm happy that the movie touched on Michael Jackson's manifestation techniques, his philosophy around manifesting, how he was laying in the pool and he said, I'm opening myself up to ideas from the creator. The way he would put pen to paper and write down these things of who he wanted to be, who he envisioned himself being or becoming. When he wrote on tour in 1979, MJ will be my new name. No more Michael Jackson. I want a whole new character, a whole new look. I should be a totally different person. People should never think of me as the kid who sang ABC, I Want You Back. I should be a new, incredible actor, singer, dancer that will shock the world. I will do no interviews. I will be magic. I will be a perfectionist, a researcher, a trainer, a master. I will be better than every great actor roped into one. I must have the most incredible training system to dig and dig until I find. I will study and look back on the whole world of entertainment and perfect it. Take steps further from where the greatest left off. And that he was, and that he became. Like I said, I really admire people who have a vision for themselves and are willing to put the work into their craft to achieve that vision. He put his all into his work. He devoted his life to this work. And when we talk about manifesting, the conversation now has been diluted into this woo woo, okay, I imagined it, so it's going to come to me. My philosophy around manifesting has always been, yes, you can picture it, but you have to work for it. You know what they say, faith without works is dead. And manifesting also, when a term becomes mainstream, you know how it basically becomes like a joke, like, oh, it's just woo woo bullshit. But it isn't. I've manifested some incredible things in my life from my work, and knowing that the biggest artist who ever lived and shall ever live did the same thing, that speaks to me so much because I love musicians. I respect musicians so much. I love music. I kind of see this podcast as music. Sometimes I'll be writing things down and I'll be like, does that flow? You know, I'll say it out loud. Okay, such and such, such. I don't really like the way I said that. Let me go back and re record that. Let me say that again. So this flows melodically. Do you know what I mean? And I like how in the movie he said, if I don't do this right now, he'll give my ideas to Prince. Oh! And he, as in God, God will give my ideas to Prince if I don't act on them right now. That's been my philosophy lately. I need to do this now. Sometimes I'll get up and record if it's urgent at 3 o'clock in the morning and say what I need to say and put it out, because that's happened to me too many times on occasion. If I hesitate on an idea because I have 500, how many notes do I have in my phone exactly? I have 601 notes in my phone as we speak right now. And I'll be on social media and scroll across somebody who's saying the exact same thing that I wrote in my notes app months ago. And I hesitated on the idea, so God gave my idea to Prince. Oh my goodness. So that taught me to act with urgency immediately. I need to get up and deliver the message immediately before it goes to Prince. I have the utmost respect for hardworking people, people who are willing to put in the work, get their hands dirty, look a little messy, go through the process, go through the rough of it, right? People who have a belief in themselves, and it's not a blind belief that's based on nothing. They're willing to earn it. Being willing to earn it will take you so far. Now, to get a little bit more woo woo, Michael Jackson has a 6-house stellium. I do too, which means he has multiple planets, or like the majority of his planets in his astrological chart, in the 6th house, which is a house of health, daily routines, and service. It creates an intense focus on daily maintenance. People with this placement are typically hard workers, deeply dedicated to helping others, and highly attuned to their physical and mental well being. I'm a 6-house stellium too, like I said, and we're always working. We're always working to make things better. Like on this podcast, I think about this podcast day and night. For real, I'm working hard behind the scenes to do things and improvements and tweaks here and there. It's always a constant improvement. There's always room for improvement. And this episode's not very structured because, like I said, I'm mainly just fangirling about this movie and Michael Jackson and how much I love him. And it's crazy how I'm having goosebumps. I'm getting giddy throughout this whole entire recording. How a person's energy can be felt way beyond death. You know what I mean? Michael Jackson shook the world for generations to come. And there will never, never be another so innovative and so, I don't even know what to say. Now, let me throw this out here too. I do not want relatable artists. That's not my main priority. I want talent. I don't want artists who sit on Twitter all day. Where is the music? Where is the work? Okay, that doesn't satisfy me. The little things these artists do now, oh, you put a picture on Instagram and it's sickening. Oh, where is your music? That's why the music industry is suffering now. We are in a talent drought for the most part. But you know who's captivated me over the past couple years? Sabrina Carpenter. I love Sabrina Carpenter. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm a pop girl. I love pop music. Sabrina Carpenter, to me, really brought the excitement back to pop music because I love like bubblegum pop, like Katy Perry, Teenage Dream. I love Ariana Grande as well. But Sabrina, her rise has been so motivating for me to watch because I remember when she was on Disney Channel on Girl Meets World. My little sister used to watch that show and I would pass by her room and she would be on there and she was doing music for a long time. But let me tell you this. I have a friend, right? Back in 2021, she was like, Sabrina is up next. Was it 2021, 2022? This was around the time Olivia Rodrigo was popping. And she said, Sabrina is up next. And I was like, Sabrina? I was like, okay, I don't hate it. But Sabrina, I don't know. I know she's been doing music for a while. And she was like, trust me, Sabrina is about to come out and eat. And then I started seeing things set in motion. Emails I Can't Send, that album came out. And she had Feather and Nonsense come out. I was like, okay, I'm feeling. Then she went on tour with Taylor Swift. I think she was opening for Taylor Swift, right? She put on her sparkly boots. She put on that beautiful makeup style, that glowy Polly Pocket style. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing it come together. Then she started going viral with her Nonsense outro in each place that she was at. No, I'm not comparing Michael Jackson to Sabrina Carpenter. Calm down, y'all. But Jesus Christ. But I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it set into motion. She's on her come up. Then Espresso came out. I was like, oh, girl, she about to eat. Oh, it's a wrap. She's about to take over. And I remember, if you scroll back far enough on here, there's an episode of me reviewing Espresso. And I was like, this is a smash hit. She's about to eat, and eat she did. And she's been eating ever since. And I really respect people who have a tenacity. Like I said, Sabrina's been going at this for 10 plus years. And I was so happy for her because I remember people were dragging her, doubting her, and it all came together and it's a bang. You know what I mean? I respect people who have been previously underestimated and they rise to the occasion. She headlined Coachella and I almost cried. I dead ass had tears in my eyes because the year before that, she was doing a show at Coachella. She ended it with Coachella, see you back here when I headline. And headline she did. And I almost started crying. I was so happy for her and she did such an amazing job at Coachella. I loved that performance from beginning to end. She worked so hard. I got chills talking about that right now. She worked so hard to get to that point. And that is manifesting. Having a belief in yourself that you will achieve and you are willing to put the work in to get it. Oh my gosh, I was listening to I'm the Best by Nicki Minaj from her debut album Pink Friday yesterday. And I swear to y'all, I wanted to cry. I've been really in my feelings. I've been really feeling the power of saying who you are and what you're going to be and then seeing it happen. That makes me that a tear comes to my eye. I was listening to I'm the Best by Nicki Minaj and it made me cry because imagine coming on your debut album saying this is who I am, this is where I'm going to be, and this is what I'm destined for, and this is what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for the girls that never thought they could win. Before they could begin, you told them it was the end, but I am here to reverse the curse that they live in. Oh my goodness, that's such a powerful song. It's the perfect song. Going back to the process of manifesting. Like I said, it's become this woo-woo mainstream term of I thought about it, I wanted it, and now it's going to make its way to me. It's not like that. I had a friend who I think learning the term manifesting was the worst thing that ever happened to him. And I'm going to tell you why. We were all like 19, 20 years old, right? Just because he thought he should have it means that it should make its way over to him now, immediately, and he deserves it. Not to say what you do and do not deserve. You know what I mean? It was, I want this $3 million house. mansion. I want this like a $70,000 truck, and I want this specific boy that I've had my eye on. And if I do not get that specific boy, then burn it all down. Literally drove himself mad, was not willing to do any work to have that house or truck. Not to say if you go work at McDonald's, you're going to have a truck and a house immediately land in your lap. You're not willing to put in the steps to get there. And as for this boy, you cannot manifest a specific person in mind if they do not want to come, y'all. Drove himself mad. To me, manifesting is being grateful for where you are right now, and you're willing to put the work in to get to the next level while also enjoying and stopping and smelling the roses of where you are at this point in time. It's not just, okay, this is where I want. I'm going to sit on the couch and hopefully it'll knock on the door and then be like, here I am. I'm this great, wonderful, amazing prize. I'm here to deliver myself to you because you manifested and thought about it. No, it's not like that. Especially when you come from a certain background of humble beginnings, you have to be willing to put it all on the line and give it an honest try. Not to say he could not get a $3 million house and a big truck and a man. You have to be willing to go through the process of putting the work in to get there. That doesn't just come from nowhere, you know. But anyway, back to Michael. He put pen to paper. It is so powerful to put pen to paper. How do I say this? When you're writing things down, you're physically exerting the energy. Even though we're in a time of smartphones, Notes app, Google Docs, Microsoft Word, it's so important to write that down. When I started journaling, I would journal in my phone and I would be like, why do I still feel bad? I'm typing, I'm writing down my feelings, but why do I still feel bad? Like I still feel like I'm holding all this weight. I got an actual journal, get an actual journal that you like and that I found pretty. And I started writing the hell out of that journal. And when I tell you, I'm like, I notice a visible difference. Like you're exerting the energy and pouring your feelings, pouring your hopes into that journal. So he would just write over and over, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm gorgeous. God is for me. Who can be against me? I'm beautiful. I'm a new person now, beautiful, knowing the secret and determined to move mountains in all I do, molding my own world. I'm beautiful. The old me is behind. I will march ahead now. I tell myself some crazy, out of this world things. Okay. I don't want to say exactly what, but it's like greatness is what we're on the brink of. That type of stuff. Like I'm on the brink of greatness. There's some more things that he wrote. What made Thriller big? I have found that when I have a reason of anger, I really come through to prove myself, like on Thriller. Let me pause right here. That is an example of transmutation, taking that anger and that energy to create and pour it into your craft. Okay, let me go back. I hated inequality in the record business. Blacks weren't able to be on MTV, the most watched musical show. Signs like disco sucks all over town. The crossover inequality, not being able to be on the cover of white publications, being told, we don't put blacks on our covers. Blacks don't sell. All this put fire in me to sell the biggest selling album. I love an underdog. I love people that rise against adversity. Transmutation is so powerful. If somebody pisses me off, I'll go and make something. Use your anger, these negative feelings to create, to make something. I'll go in the bathroom and write down 10 more notes about things I want to talk about, things that will make me visible. I'll post 5 more TikToks, get ideas for 3 more videos. Let me continue. Elvis is not king. Show Springsteen who's boss. I will have the entire mags of Time, Life, Newsweek people. I was very, very angry. I had to prove myself and change things. Do it. 200 million for the white children so they have black heroes so they don't grow up prejudiced. All kids. Now what I must do out of anger on this album to prove myself. There's a whole new generation of white kids who are children to the KKK. I saw on the news on Martin Luther King's birthday, these kids were watching their parents stone black people. They will grow up prejudiced. They hate blacks. My goal is to become so big, so powerful, to become such a hero to end prejudice, to make these little white kids love me by selling over 200 million albums, make them look up to me. I will change the world. I have changed it 200 million. Throughout history, white men have always branded the pages of history with great white heroes, putting whites over blacks as nobles, like Elvis being the king of rock and roll, Springsteen being the boss, or the Beatles being the best. Yes, these guys were good, but they weren't better singers or dancers than the blacks. The difference is whites control the press, the media, and they can make the public believe whatever they desire. I will change this now with the power of my songs and dance and looks and total reclusiveness. Michael Jackson, everywhere. He's known everywhere, across cultures, countries, continents, everywhere. And mystery world. I will rule as the king. I am not prejudiced. It is just time for the first black king now. I love white people, black people, all races. His handwriting is a little bit hard to read, but I think it says, I want what's fun. Now is the time for my kingship forever. I want all races to love as one. Now, MJ the King forever. And at the bottom, he wrote, genius, billionaire, performer, dancer, beautiful face, strange, and some other things. But I'm like, okay, Michael, I can't really read that. But he also had notes pinned to his mirror. I am so grateful that I am a magnet for miracles. Love, no violence ever. And that he became, and that he achieved, and that's all he did. This might be a little bit all over the place, but I have no firm outline. I just wanted to discuss how much I love Michael Jackson. This black man that stepped out of those stereotypical bounds of what it meant to be a black man. He was a funny, weird guy, and I loved that about him. I loved how different he was. I was so fascinated with him. And let me say this, he was looking like an alien in the best way. And I mean that in a complimentary sense. I was so fascinated. I thought he was so beautiful, ethereal, extraterrestrial. Do you feel me? Do y'all feel what I'm saying? My first celebrity crush, when other people would say, oh, I have a celebrity crush on, I couldn't relate to that at all when I was a kid and a teenager and all that. But Michael Jackson, I was in love with that man. I would daydream extensively about Michael Jackson when I was a child. It was scary. He would be scared of me. But I think I'm going to conclude it here. I hope you enjoyed my little rant on Michael Joseph Jackson from Gary, Indiana. If we have any audience members who were around to experience his rise, his prime, these big moments that happened, like remember the time when Thriller came out? I spoke to an older lady who was around when he moonwalked for the first time on MTV. She saw it. What was it like to be alive at the same time as Michael Jackson was making history? Like, how can you tell us how big he was? Can you even begin to convey how big he was? Have you ever seen him in person? Little stories like that. If anybody has anything else to contribute to the conversation, how much you love Michael Jackson, like tell me, please tell, because I want to really give tribute to how incredible of a person he was and how he's still changing lives to this day, even being dearly departed for almost 20 years now. Do you want to talk about manifesting? Do you have any specific manifesting techniques that you do or that you want to share that anybody can take part in? Please be vividly vocal in the comments. As always, I love you guys so much. Please remember, faith without works is dead. Action is everything. Audacity is everything. Being willing to put everything on the line is everything. Being willing to do what you must do, what you were called to do, despite making a fool of yourself. You feel like you're going to be embarrassed. Like this is new. Nobody's ever done it before. Nobody's going to get it. The people don't have to get it. They're not going to get it at first. Carry out your mission, deliver your ideas as you see them in your vision. We are room shakers. We are innovators on this side, okay? No dream is too big. And with that, I'll see you again soon, okay? Bye-bye.